Hey everyone, thanks for joining in. We're just going to wait for a few more minutes, maybe another minute to have people join in, and then we're going to start.
Mhm.
Hey Karan, do you want to share your screen while we're still waiting to start?
Sure.
Okay, just few 1 minute and then we'll kick off.
Yep.
Okay, let's start. Thanks everyone for joining in. And I'm Rajat, India Marketer, Virtual Marketer User Group co-lead, along with Karan. And today we have Ajay Sarpal along with us, who's one of the panelists. The theme for the session today is Adobe Summit that happened in March. And we are going to cover a recap of what happened at the summit. Both Karan and Ajay, they attended the summit and they would be talking about the details. So before we actually get into the topic, there are a couple of housekeeping slides we just want to run through. Yeah, so these are the housekeeping slides that have been shared by Marketo, and we would really want and appreciate that everyone in the group maintains and follows these rules. So primarily, the whole focus is that we want to promote content which is generic in nature, and it's not some sort of a pitching, any sort of pitch. Now that we are expanding the version of our group and we would be having a lot of content coming from different places. So our goal would be that we do not do any self promotion, and we would really appreciate like if any communication that you would want to do regarding this particular marketer user group, you do it within the group itself, either via the community or within during the event. And in case like anyone shares any success story or any case study, just do not share that outside without the consent. So this is only for the discussion that we are having at the marketer user group, and it's not authorized to be used outside that. And lastly, like whatever we discuss, it's from our experience. It's not something that we are endorsing on the behalf of marketer. Okay. So if you haven't signed up for the marketer user group email updates, you can do that by clicking on the link that we have in the deck. We are going to share the deck after the presentation and the recording as well. And you can always go and join the marketer user group on the marketer community and sign up for all the regular updates. Then some details regarding the recent assets that Marketo launched and the webinars. So Marketo recently launched a guide for marketing metrics and analytics. It's a video actually, but it's really insightful. And I know a lot of people have been asking us regarding the reporting capabilities of Marketo. So go and check out this particular guide, and it can definitely help you getting started with the metrics that you can build for your marketing team. And then there is another webinar that's happening on the funnel optimization on May 15th and 22nd and 29th. So it's actually like three that are happening at 10 a.m. PT. So like I know it's late for the users in India, but it would be a good idea that if you go in and sign up to get a recording afterwards.
And this is Purple Select. So any one of you who are excited to get further engaging beyond the Marketo community, this is a great platform. The fun part being that you get to earn a lot of swags and get to complete challenges. I'll just switch and show you a quick snapshot. So this is how the Purple Select login looks like. These are the points that you have earned. So it shows you your in the leaderboard what is your position, and these are the swags that are available according to the points you won. But yeah, they do ship it to India all the way. I have this one, so that is amazing. And yeah, if you get points enough, you can even earn a free ticket to the Marketo Summit next year. So yeah, do sign up for this and get started on this at the earliest.
Yeah. So it's actually a really cool thing. And like, not just a swag, like the option to get a free Marketer User Summit ticket for next year can help you build a case and go and join that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And always like you can join the Advocate Nation to share your expertise. And if you really want to grow your personal brand and become a marketer who has a really strong grasp on marketer, you can always go and become a marketer customer advocate. We have included the link on the slide, so feel free to join this as well.
Yeah. And these are the upcoming Marketo events. So there we are, India VMUG. This is basically Marketo wants us to present this because, for those of you who haven't joined or you want to join a user group, there are regional user groups that are there in the US, hopefully in the near future in India as well. And for those of you who cannot attend, it's you can attend the virtual ones that are there across. And every month this keeps getting updating, so we'll update you as well.
Yeah. Okay. Coming to our session today. So primarily we wanted to talk about the Adobe Summit recap, and we would be talking about what are some of the key takeaways from what happened at the Marketer User Summit. I know it's slightly late, but this is the only time we could find for presenting this, and then we would be sharing some sessions that Karan and Ajay recommend from their experience at the Marketer Summit. So you can always go and look at the recording of those sessions. And then lastly, we'll be talking a little bit about the recent survey that we did for India VMUG. So that was really helpful, and it is helping us in planning for the future events. So we would be sharing some details on that.
Yeah.
Okay. So our speakers today. So firstly, we have Ajay Sarpal. So Ajay is one of the champions from India for this year. And he has been a Marketo user from a long time. I believe he's one of the initial Marketo users in India. So he's 5X certified and he has a strong experience in Salesforce. So he has been into consultations roles and he has been a full stack marketer specialist. And currently he is heading the marketing and sales operations for a fintech company based out of San Mateo. And then we have Karan, who is another Marketo champion from India for 2019. And he currently leads the India Virtual Marketer User Group along with me. And he's also part of the Champion Leadership Committee. And again, like a full stack marketer specialist. So they both attended the Marketer User Summit in March. And they would be sharing their insights regarding what all happened at the summit and everything as what we need to learn or know from Marketer side. So over to you, Karan and Ajay.
Thank you, Rajat. So to get started on a brief overview, so a lot of focus on day one and day two was on sort of Adobe products. So to start off with Marketo, this time summit was a lot different because it was extremely huge as compared to all the previous Marketo summits that at least we have attended. And the keynote session hall was so big that, even after the final moment, there was tons and tons of space. So it was amazing. It was a completely new experience. Day one and day two more focused on Adobe products. So as a Marketo user and a person who has attended Marketo Summit in the past, it was little overwhelming for the beginning. But then the good part being that we got acquainted with a lot of Adobe products and got to see as to what is its future in terms of native integrations with Marketo and where Marketo falls in the overall ecosystem of the Adobe in terms of this Adobe acquisition. And so another thing was, this time since it was Adobe Summit and because of several acquisitions like Magento and Marketo, the overall summit was spread across about 3 hotels, and managing sessions was a big challenge for us. So running between hotels and, a lot of people who I met said they walked about 9 to 10 miles a day. So that was a key learning for us. And the recognition was amazing as attending for the first time as Marketo champions from India was absolutely amazing and was totally worth it. Ajay, do you have anything to add to that?
Sure. And before I share my experience about Adobe Summit, I first want to thank Rajat Well, I appreciate the introduction. It is great to be speaking with you all today, and thank you for taking the time out from your busy schedule. Well, I hope that today's VMUG session is going to be informative and useful for you all, and most importantly, it will give you the visibility on what all happened at Adobe Summit. So, just to add my points, the audience size of Marketer Summit was 6,000 earlier, but this time there was 17,000 marketers from across the globe. So the sessions were informative and insightful, and like the way Karan mentioned that the experience was massive, and the places and the keynote sessions and the hall was super huge and biggest which we have ever encountered. And with my personal experience, the first day started with the mixed feeling. Just like many loyal advocates of Marketo, I was little apprehensive about the future of Marketo, but after attending the keynotes and meetings with the executive team of Marketo, which were from customer support, product, certification departments, it was a sigh of relief to know that Marketo is definitely not going away. In fact, after Adobe's acquisition, it is going to emerge very strong and going to give the marketers the best of both the worlds, coupled with the experience of Adobe and engagement engine of Marketo. And like Karan said that being the first time Marketo champion, the experience was surreal.
Absolutely.
So can you please move on to the next slide?
Yeah.
So great. So I'll just give you a brief overview about a brief background about this particular slide, that all big brands are relying heavily on customer experience. Think about a few years back, getting into a stranger's car was a scary thing. To add more, staying at stranger's home was even scarier than getting into an unknown person's car. But Uber and Airbnb changed the customer experience by adding the flavor of technology. They build products which are helping the customer experience and touching all of us. So just to add, Adobe is also committed to transform business through customer experience management, and they have taken a couple of initiatives to get into that level. So they are going to work on to unified data silos through the Adobe Experience Cloud. Then they are also building comprehensive buyer profiles by compiling activity across all digital and in-person channel. And most importantly, which I will be covering later as well, that they are using artificial intelligence, real-time personalization, and predictive audience management to target these people. And they want to engage with everyone, and they want to ensure that each moment is personal. Let it be from various channels, let it be from email, web, social, and they want to make every experience shoppable.
So these are a few fun new acronyms that we were able to jot down during the keynote. So heavy focus was there on account-based experience. Now, this is not a specific feature, as I will be discussing in the future slides. So this is not a specific feature, but a combination of a lot of things that are going to be driving towards an account-based experience. DDOM, data-driven operating model. So a very heavy focus is on data and the way they are going to leverage data to sort of manage the marketing operations and activities. CXM, customer experience management, and CCXO, which is codeless customer experience orchestration, which is nothing but customer experience orchestration is basically customer experience management, and the codeless refers to a seamless and user-friendly way of enabling and managing customer experience. These are a few notable quotes that really enticed me, and I wanted to make a note and share it with everyone. So make every moment personal and make every experience shoppable. The road to failure is paved with sloppy definitions. Good data drives informed actions, an absolutely true point. Attribution is existential to a marketer's role in an organization. So these were great quotes by, big marketing leaders and evangelists like Steve Lucas, Shantanu, and others who presented at the keynote. And something that I believe that every marketer should, maybe put it up on their board and refer to now and then.
Yeah, I'm just adding on that particular one. Like attribution is existential. This is something which is a mandatory thing now. Like a marketer cannot help succeed in organization without helping the organization share insights on how they invest their money. Like what are the channels, what are the offer types, where exactly every marketing dollar has to be spent. It has to come from an attribution. Like marketing is no more something which someone can do on the basis of their gut feeling. It has to be data driven. And that is something that is being advocated strongly at the Adobe Summit. And it's really good to hear that Marketo and Adobe, they both are heavily investing on this side.
Absolutely. And another beautiful, quote by Anju Bambri, who is the Anjul Bambri, who is the VP of Platform Engineering at Adobe. So that says that we believe to solve these challenges facing CMOs, you need a modern cloud-based big data architecture. The solution must be purpose-built with these key ingredients: a data pipeline, the notion of a real-time unified customer profile, and then an AI that ultimately delivers cross-channel experience. So this is something that really struck on, and I wanted to put this on the slide. Now coming to the next interesting part, Marketo product updates. So I've been hearing, and a lot of people have been asking me as to what's new with Marketo. I mean, the major purpose for going to this time summit was with the acquisition. What's new with Marketo? So let's go ahead and jump right on to that. Over to you, Ajay.
Thank you. So I'll start with a quote. If you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together. So this is which is happening with Marketo, that, although Marketo is now part of Adobe's Experience Cloud, and it is now called Marketo Engaged, but the overall goal is to go together with the other offerings of Adobe and to give a better user experience and customer experience. So Marketo is no longer a standalone product, but a single app within a much larger structure of product. And the good part being that is that Marketo's integration with a lot of world-class Adobe products like Photoshop, Adobe Analytics, Adobe Target, and Sensei would become native, and which would take automation using Marketo to the whole new level. So in a nutshell, Adobe Analytics consists of web analytics, marketing analytics, attribution, and predictive analytics. So just think about it, using the engagement engine of Marketo and then using the power of Adobe Analytics, then Adobe Target. I was just going through the website and I found a very interesting tagline which is associated with Adobe Target, that, it says that, find the individual in the haystack and delight them. So basically, Adobe Target consists of A/B testing, personalization, and AI power. And the last thing, which is really favorite of mine, that is Sensei. And the meaning of Sensei in English is teacher. So Adobe Sensei uses AI and machine learning in discovering hidden opportunities. It has creative intelligence, content intelligence, and experience intelligence, which is going to take the present state of Marketo experience to a whole new level. And it is going to add much more values when it comes to attribution and artificial intelligence. So the branding change. So as I said before, that, the Marketo is now called as Marketo Engage. Not so much a product update, but it is just the branding which has changed so far. So now not as Marketo, but it is now be termed as Marketo Engage. Next slide. So as I mentioned before, Marketo is investing a lot on artificial intelligence. They are going big on AI. So they are going on content AI and audience AI. And I personally believe that content AI is coming from Sensei and audience AI is coming from Adobe Target. And with the combination of these artificial intelligence systems, the design studio could contain machine learning driven recommendation to guide marketers on where to use an asset. For example, when you upload a white paper, the system would identify it as a white paper and make suggestions for which campaign or audience it should go to. So all cool stuff is now in pipeline. And, I strongly believe that, after this acquisition, we are going to see the whole new view of Marketo, which is going to touch each one of us in very positive way.
Absolutely.
So the account-based experience, as we all are relying heavily on account-based experience, Steve Lucas, who happens to be the ex-CEO of Marketo and now the senior vice president, announced a new partnership between Adobe and Marketo. And this is actually to take their account-based experience to the next level. The whole idea behind this acquisition is to enhance the ability to hydrate the profile in Marketo Engage or Marketo Dynamic with the real-time data to better identify account-based buying teams. And they want to enhance the ability to align account data with LinkedIn information. And Steve Lucas emphasized that LinkedIn data remained on LinkedIn, but indicated we would be able to align first-party data with LinkedIn singles in some way. So I personally feel that, how it is going to happen that, you can perhaps upload the list of the targeted accounts on LinkedIn. And with the help of this new account-based experience, for that particular account, we will be channelizing different advertisement and different touches and the new ways of engaging with them. We don't have much insights on this particular point, but we should be sharing that in near future with you all.
Yeah. And just adding on to that, this would be something very interesting to see from a GDPR perspective, since GDPR doesn't allow us to capture data for our prospects directly in Marketo as a system. So it would be interesting to see how we could leverage LinkedIn and this partnership with Microsoft and Marketo to see how we could do better prospecting with our target audiences and see if we could get nice multi-channel campaigns.
Yep, absolutely. So, moving to the next part. So, marketing activities. Somewhere where I started my career, and a lot of marketers or Marketo users start off their initial journey in Marketo. So, a few updates here. So, the most interesting and the first one is event program registration cap. So this I know from experience and a lot of client requirements that, putting people into wait list and setting cap on event registrations required a lot of complicated workarounds in Marketo, and it requires quite a lot of complicated workarounds in Marketo presently. But going further in Marketo Sky, event programs are going to be, this feature is going to be native where you can put caps on events on a program by program basis. And as soon as the cap is reached, you will automatically have the option to redirect the remaining registrants to a fallback landing page. So that's an interesting feature that's going to be coming.
Yeah, and like Karan said, this is something that has been a pain area for a lot of people who do actively field marketing events, especially when you are doing workshops or any sort of training sessions or even closed door events. We have been using Salesforce campaign object and a lot of different hacks to manage this. So this functionality is something that is going to be really amazing.
Right, yeah. And again, so the second one is event program goals. This is particularly interesting. So this feature, what it allows is while creating your program, the marketer actually gets to set goals as to what is his or her goals for registration. What are the goals for the attendance that they want to set? And once this goal is set right here in the screenshot, for example, it says registered 2,000, attended 1,500. So that's the goals that you can set. And Marketo will proactively track these goals as to, how far have you reached and is there any risk of not meeting the goals, and proactively throw out recommendations saying, which I'll be coming to in the next slides. So it will proactively show the recommendations to improve your chances of meeting your goals. And the event program goal tracking, which is on the right side to the screen, this is once the event is over, it actually shows you a view of, what is the level of targeted goals that you have achieved. So, for example, if your registration goals was an X number, you have achieved 111% of it. And so this is a very insightful sort of a view for a marketer so that you can constantly improve on your marketing and engagement efforts. Again, predictions and recommendations, like I started off in the previous slide, this is huge. So like you can see in the screenshot, if Marketo sees that there is a chance that you're not going to meet the goals, first of all, it's going to give you a lead by lead recommendation of how likely that person is to register or to attend the event based on their past behavior. So again, machine learning. So like it's also mentioned over here, nearly all these updates have a touch of Adobe Sensei and targets to sort of inculcate the machine learning part of it in Marketo and improve the overall performance, right? So here it is, and in the below screenshot, like it says, it will show the likelihood of each person registering and attending, and it will also give a recommendation saying that, hey, your goal is this much. This is the goal that you have set. This is the goal that you wanted to reach. Why not consider adding these people? I'll just blow this up a little bit of, yeah. So see, looks like your predicted numbers are a bit low, considering adding these people to sort of achieve your goals. So these are the sort of interesting features that I think would be really interesting and take the overall use of Marketo to a whole new level. Additionally, predictive smart list filters. So up until now, while creating a batch or while adding filters were primarily limited to the static property of a lead as to what they have done. But with this introduction, predictive filters, you have an option to sort of leverage the machine learning on a lead per lead basis, and you can further configure the threshold using constraints. So for example, the filter that is used right here is likely to register. So you can put a filter that says a person is likely to register and put a constraint of 70 or 80% depending upon your goals, and Marketo will all the people who have been registering or per se use the machine learning part and suggest the best possible leads who would be how do I put it? Who would be qualified for this campaign. And similar predictive smart list filters include likely to register, likely to attend, likely to unsubscribe, and lookalike audience. So if you choose lookalike audience, perhaps a smart list that you had defined earlier, which was very successful, it will sort of use leads from that. I mean, how cool is it to have these features in future? I mean, it really takes the Marketo use itself to a whole new level. And this is a journey view that will be there on Sky. So it just shows you at a glance as to how your smart campaign will work. It shows you the triggers that were used, the filters that's been used, and your flow steps here. So that's an interesting part.
Yeah, and I think this is something that a lot of people have missed after they have moved from platforms like HubSpot and Eloqua, which used to have a view like this where you could just go and view your campaigns in a sequence like this. So this is something which is a really positive change.
Absolutely. And coming to the next interesting part, which is Design Studio. Over to you, Ajay.
Sure. So the Design Studio is going to get a different look and feel now. And the best thing of Design Studio is that it is going to get integrated with Adobe Experience Manager. So we can actually import digital assets directly from the Adobe Experience Manager to the asset editors. And this integration would be a good news for the user of Adobe Experience Manager who don't want to duplicate their digital assets across two spaces. So it saves time, and more than that, it makes you self-sufficient in getting the data without relying on multiple teams. Yeah, and this is how the Design Studio looks like with the help of Adobe Image Editor. So earlier, for making very small edits, a marketer needs to rely on the graphic designer to crop the photograph or to rotate it or to add few effects to it. But the beauty of this functionality is that you can actually perform light image editing. You can crop them, resize those images, and everything inside the asset editor of the interface. So this is how it is going to look like, and it is going to make the life of all marketers very easy, and it is going to reduce the dependency on a graphic designer, and we can make these small tweaks on ourselves.
Yeah, and I can tell you from my experience, I have spent hours in my past life when I used to work on building the email campaigns, and I still do that when there are changes in the images. Like, even though I can make changes directly by editing them, but there is still a work that requires uploading those images and replacing them and making sure they're properly updated. So this is actually going to save a lot of time.
Absolutely. And to add on to this a little bit more, while they were presenting this at the keynote, what they said was, this is what is shown right now, but just wait and watch, because a lot of features of Photoshop and etc. are going to be further added to this, which is actually going to make Marketo one of the most unique sort of, automation platforms out there.
It won't be surprising, like if someday Marketo comes with a green screen technology in their image editing.
Yeah.
So the design studio again comes with journey automation for assets. So basically, this is again related to the predictive analysis, where the design studio could contain machine learning driven recommendation to guide marketer on which asset to use. So for example, when you upload a white paper, the system could potentially identify as to what white paper it is, whether it is a white paper, and make suggestion for which campaign and audience it should go to. So this is going to be a unique offering from Marketo, and I believe no other marketing automation platform has it.
Absolutely.
So here are the other key updates which we gathered from this summit. So sky is the limit. That is true. Sky is the future, and sky is the new platform which we all are kind of using it. It has few bugs, but still feel free to use it, because this is going to be the future. It is going to be the Lightning edition of Salesforce. As we all are now migrating from the classic version to Lightning. So this is going to be the future, and please start using it, even though it contains a little bit of bugs. But feel free to share your feedback with the product management team so that they can enhance it for the betterment of us. And then the another thing is related to the batch campaign. So Marketo is planning to process batch email campaigns program in parallelized chunks. So in reality, whenever we are scheduling an email program, it is definitely not going at the same time. So it takes a while to process. Even when you use Head Start, that is the only option when you get to launch the campaign at the time when you're going to schedule it. But there are limitations with Head Starts when it comes to unsubscribes, because it takes almost 12 hours for a campaign to get processed. So this is the new functionality where Marketo is going to add the improved batch campaign processing, where they are going to divide each and every campaign in parallelized chunks. So instead of, let's assume if you're sending an email campaign to 100,000 target audience, it is going to take almost 30 minutes to 45 minutes, depending upon the size of the audience, to get each and every email delivered. But with the help of this advanced batch campaigns functionality, Marketo will be able to reduce that time drastically. This is going to speed up the email sending and may eliminate the need to use Head Start functionality for large and complex instances. So the third point is Smart List contains optimization. So I'll give you a brief overview about the difference between Smart List and segmentation. So we use segments and segmentations because they are faster than Smart List in pulling the data based on predefined conditions. And at times, we all must have witnessed that, the Smart List processing is relatively low when, we are using start with or contains logics. And, in order to avoid that particular slowness of Marketo is coming up with this advanced contains optimization. And this is going to work for checking the email addresses against a list of domains. And then all you need to do, you need to just add the @ symbol at the beginning of the domain in the Smart List, and it will enable the optimization and improve the query performance. This particular solution is actually based on RDBMS, that is called Relational Database Management System, and it is using pre-indexing so that at the live environment, there is no need for Marketo to search each and every parameter. They can use the pre-indexed data and fetch the data easily. So this is all about the Smart List optimization, which is, I personally feel that, it is going to help we all marketers in reducing the time in pulling and fetching the data using Smart List. And the another thing, which is account-based experience. And as I mentioned in the previous slides, which is related to the to getting into partnership with LinkedIn and Microsoft, Marketo is actually relying heavily to promote its capability to deliver account-based experience or ABX. This isn't a single feature, but rather appears to refer us to a series of new and existing features that together could support an end-to-end ABM capabilities at scale. And 3 or 4 years back, ABM was something which each and every company was defining on their own ways. But now we have become a little matured when it comes to account-based experience. And the best thing is that with the recent partnership with Microsoft and LinkedIn, Marketo is going to take that experience to the next level.
Absolutely. And thank you, Ajay. And to add on to that point, I remember Steve Lucas specifically quoting that, these days in a B2B buying environment or a buying cycle, it's not just 1 or 2 buyers or 10 buyers. It could be 100 people that are involved in a sale or in a buying cycle, and it could take for a huge time. So the significance and importance of account-based marketing and having an account-based experience is so important. And one thing that I sort of missed out on putting on this slide, I will do it later, is the focus of Marketo being a B2E. So that is, it's not a B2B or a B2C, but it's B2E, business to everyone. So Steve Lucas beautifully gives an example of Booking.com, where it is leveraging Marketo not only for the B2C, that is selling tickets and making bookings for their customers, but it's also using Marketo heavily to for the B2B and within their organization efforts. So that's something that I would highly recommend. And in the coming slide, which is recommended summit sessions, so what I've done here is, so basically this time the good thing was, all the sessions, all the keynotes are available on adobesummitonline.com. But then the challenge over there is you really cannot comment or ask a question or start a discussion on those sessions. So what I've done is I have picked selected sessions and I've posted it on the community and I've hyperlinked it over here. And I would recommend all of you to go ahead and click on those, go to the community, watch them, and most certainly rate the video, comment on your thoughts of what you feel about these updates. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, because we are all here to answer the questions. And I have also tagged the people who actually delivered these sessions. So if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask those champions and marketing leaders, and they'll be more than glad to answer. A few sessions is, again, the powerful keynote by Steve Lucas. So it was interesting because this time, Shantanu started off with the keynotes, and the ongoing sessions were there. And when Steve Lucas's turn came, the energy was mind blowing, and it really sort of energized the entire crowd. That's something that I highly recommend all of you watch. All the updates that were discussed in this slide were the sources of those updates were 2 sources, actually. One is this video, that's What's New with Marketo, Innovations of the Future, where marketing leaders, Matt Zilli and other marketing leaders in detail describe the entire set of updates that are going to come with Marketo. And I have also added a link of another blog over here by Justin Norris. A lot of screenshots also was taken from that. This is a beautiful guide for all the updates. So I'd most certainly recommend all of you watch this as well. Game-changing experience inside Marketo Sky. Like Ajay mentioned, Marketo Sky is the next gen thing. That is something that we all would have to eventually evolve to. So do watch those, because all these updates that you see, those are in Sky, right? And I personally have been in feedback sessions directly with Marketo and designers who are working on Marketo Sky UI. So I can say for a fact that they are coming up with absolutely amazing updates, and I highly recommend all of you to keep up with these updates and start using Sky. Watch this video. Mistakes we've made with digital advertising. So the cool thing about this session is, in all the sessions, everybody talks about the cool stuff that they have done with Marketo. But in this specific video, Jessica Cross and Jeff Canada, who are avid Marketo, ex-Marketo champions, Marketo evangelists, they discuss about the mistakes that they have done and how to avoid them. And that's absolutely courageous, brave, and that's a must-watch video for everyone. Marketo hyper-personalization. This was a session by Amanda Thomas. She's again a Marketo champion for this year. And all the nurture enthusiasts and engagement program users, I highly recommend you all watch this. Marketo live Marketo, life-altering revenue cycle models. This was by this session was delivered by five-time Marketo champion Joe Wrights, and Joe Wrights also won the Marketer of the Year award. So, I mean, he beautifully describes all that you need to know about RCMs and lead life cycle. And one of the quotes from the session in which I personally went, I remember, was, "If your RCM doesn't look cool, it's probably not the best." So, I really highly recommend watching this one. Make the most out of your A/B testing with Marketo. This was a beautiful session. Again, I was a part of this, delivered by Jessica Cow. And Jessica beautifully describes as to what are the key essentials that you need to make sure while working with A/B testing. And I mean, it might sound really simple. But the insights that I gained after this session was absolutely priceless. Slicing and dicing your audience. This was a session by Sydney Mulligan, where Sydney beautifully describes the use of segmentation and how to best leverage those. Skinning Schrodinger's cat, web personalization, getting to a single source of truth. So these all are sessions where each topic of Marketo is discussed in detail and with the beautiful examples. The best part is the relativity of those topics versus the examples, and that's amazing. And I recommend all of you to go through this. And yeah, so do go through all these sessions. Make sure to comment and drop in your feedback of what you feel about these updates, and we'd be glad to hop on a discussion on the Marketer community.
Great, thank you, Karan. And I would actually like to share my experience. I actually attended an insightful session titled "Building an Attribution Engine with Visible and Marketo." So although I have been using Marketo from the past 4 years, but it actually helped me to understand more about a Visible, that where all it can help us. So unlike RCE, Visible comes with UW, full path, and custom attribution models. And the best part is that attribution is set automatically for the online channels. You need not to create multiple campaigns on Marketo for this, because Visible matches the right channel based on the UTM values. And Visible has its own code, something like a Munchkin code, which we are supposed to place on our website landing pages. And it takes care of the first touch, last touch, lead conversion touch, opportunity creation touch, and all other cool things. And the another cool feature of Visible is that, for the online channels, it automatically matches the form fill out and the proper channel by 96%. So only for 4% where, someone is actually using some strange filters, those things are not being cookied, and those we have to do it manually. But the beauty of Visible is that it helps in saving a lot of time. Furthermore, Visible automatically takes the cost directly from the paid ad platforms. So you need not to specify the cost of each program like the way we do it on Marketo. So that is the another beauty of Visible. And, it is always good to learn more by watching this video. And I would personally recommend each one of you to go through with this attribution engine. It will help you that, how Marketo or marketing team can show the influence on revenue to sales as well as to the executive team. You can actually find it out which channel is working well, which campaign is working well, which campaign actually influence top of the funnel leads, bottom of the funnel leads, or middle of the funnel leads, or which channel or which campaign actually helped in contributing more opportunities as compared to just generating MQLs or other school stuff. So I would personally recommend that, please go and attend this session if it is available. And if you need any help from us, we all are available. Feel free to reach out to us, and we will be able to help you with the best of our ability.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's really helpful. And before we actually get into the survey results, maybe we could just take a couple of questions that we've got on chat. So I'll talk about those, and Karan and Ajay, feel free to chime into those.
Sure.
So
you want to start sharing your screen?
Yeah, I'll share my screen after we are done with the question. So question one that we have is that the features that we have talked about, are they going to be available in Sky or in the current version as well? So my current assumption is that they are going to be available only in Sky, because the whole UI and everything, marketers heavily investing in that UI on the Sky platform. And eventually the existing UI that we have, it would be phased out. We do not know when it's going to be phased out, because there is a lot that still needs to be done by Marketo in the sky. But we should be looking at somewhere close to 2020, maybe by the end of 2020 is when Marketo might start phasing out. Like, it may not phase out everything in one go. It might start phasing out a couple of things initially, and eventually the entire database is moved over to the new UI. And I would personally recommend, like, we should not be worrying about when the existing UI is going to phase out. We should be more excited about the new opportunities that we're going to get in the sky. Like, as Ajay mentioned, like, the sky is the limit. It actually is. Like, I know from my personal experience, I can say that there have been a lot of discussions where people feel that Marketo is not heavily investing in the product, but this is Marketo investing in the product. And those who have been considering switching from Marketo to HubSpot or Pardot or other applications just because Marketo is less user friendly, it's something that's going to change drastically now. And with Adobe's support, Marketo might end up becoming like one of the top leaders in the Gartner quadrant in the near future.
Absolutely. And just to add on to that, all these most recent features like predictive filters and, the event cap, all these features that we discussed today, that is only available in Sky. That's not in the other UI. And for all of your reference, I had wrote a detailed blog, which sort of got a lot of applause. So I'm posting it over here. That I've just mentioned it in the chat. So that details a detailed comparison between the old UI and the new UI, and what all you can leverage in Sky doing those. So this is a very detailed and big blog, so you can go through that whenever you've got free time.
Yeah. The other question is that the event cap feature, is it going to be available only for the online events or offline events? So I believe this is something that Marketo is going to set up on the basis of the program type. So like in Marketo, we know like we have a default program, we have an email program, and we have an event program. So irrespective of whether we are doing an offline event or an online event, Marketo is going to put this functionality on that particular program type, which is going to allow us the ability to set a cap and then decide what happens after the cap has been met.
Do we get the this PPT, and will this recording be shared with us? Yes, it would be, and we would be
uploading. I apologize. Like last time we could not share the recording. Like the recording file got messed up a little, but this time we are extra cautious. So definitely the recording is coming soon.
Yeah.
Okay. We have 12 minutes left, so I'll quickly go through the survey results. Let me try to share my screen. 1 second. Sorry. Okay, yeah. So thanks for participating in the survey. And the survey that we started around like 2-3 weeks back, it has been really helpful for us as the Marketo user group leaders to identify all of you as an audience and understand what is it that you want to hear about more. So like I'll quickly run through the survey results. So how much experience do we have? So out of all the people who responded, we see that most of the people have fairly decent experience within Marketo. They have, and especially if I look at people who have at least 1 year or 2 years of experience, that's a fairly good number. And this is actually very helpful for us because it tells us that if in near future, if we want to pick something which is slightly more advanced in nature as a topic for our Marketo user group session, we can do that. So that's something which is really helpful for us. Other question was regarding the access to Marketo. So I'm really glad that a lot of people have access to Marketo, and there are some people who get access to Marketo depending on the project that they're working on. Those of you who do not have access to Marketo, I would recommend that always refer to docs.marketo.com. Like, unfortunately, Marketo doesn't have a free trial instance. If you're not a Marketo partner, you really cannot go and work within Marketo. But docs.marketo.com is something which is totally free. If you want to learn anything about Marketo, you can go to that. And it's fairly detailed. Like, I know like it doesn't substitute for all the work that you can do practically, but it can still help you understand a lot about Marketo. Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry. This was the type of work. So it's interesting to see a lot of people in India who responded to the survey. They are currently in marketing agencies, and they have, and I know, like from my experience on the agency side, you get a chance to work with a lot of different clients, a lot of different projects, and it's a great learning experience. Like every day, you might be getting some new project, and it makes you learn a lot more. So this is really helpful for us to understand and can help us tailor the future sessions. And lastly, recommendations that we got for future sessions. So these are some of the topics that we got. We got requests regarding scoring and how do we do more webhooks and overall like API integrations. So quite a few people actually talked about integrations and how they can integrate Marketo within their entire marketing tech stack, and even like the other business processes that they're currently running. So that's something that we're gonna do in the near future, definitely. Then a lot of focus was around personalization, reporting, and analytics, visible ABM again. So I'm really happy to see that a lot of people in India are thinking about ABM. So that and like overall Marketo admin section, CRM management, lead management, etc. So most probably the next few sessions that we are going to plan in June and the following months, they are going to be coming out from the list that we got. Yeah. Okay. Lastly, if you have any suggestions or any feedback, we have our email address, so you can directly reach out to us, and we would be uploading the deck on the Marketer user group in the community, and we'll add the recording as well. So if you have any follow-up questions, you can just tag Karan or myself on the chat, and you can also tag Ajay. And you can feel free to ask questions and let us know your thoughts, comments, feedback, anything. So we welcome everything, whatever you want to tell us. Yeah. All right. So that wraps it. And thanks again for your time from a busy schedule. And we'll reach out to everyone very soon with the announcement for the next Marketer user group session. Tentatively, we are planning it sometime in June. So we'll have more details coming out for that really soon. And thanks for your support. Really helpful, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everyone. And it was a pleasure speaking with you all today. And thank you so much for the time. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot for coming to the session, Ajay. Thank you.
Well, it was a pleasure. So thank you. Thank you for hosting me.
Thanks.